Hi guys, my name is Trevor. Welcome to the channel Getting There. Today I'll be talking to you about my CB500X and the modifications that I've made and why I chose the bike. I chose the CB500X because it's basically a blank canvas. It's a very good, reliable bike. It's pretty light and low to the ground compared to a lot of what are known as adventure bikes. If you are going to be taking it off-road, there's three things you do need to do. Is you need to modify the suspension, which you can do either with using Rally Raid's level 1 and level 2 products, or you can use other manufacturers. I would recommend Rally Raid level 2 simply because if you want to at some stage later on upgrade to the bigger wheels, the level 2 kit facilitates that, so the bike is ready to be upgraded further as you develop your skills and your preference for going into more adventurous territory with the bike. Another modification you're going to need to do to the bike is to protect the bike. When I bought the bike originally, it had the upper body protectors on it, so if you are looking at getting a CB500X, quite often you'll be able to pick one up that has some mods already done to it, which shouldn't increase the price of the bike but will definitely save you some money when you are buying the bike. So the engine guard is very important. I picked the Rally Raid one basically because I was getting some stuff from them anyway. It was the easiest option. I did do some research on them and people seem pretty happy. There are alternatives, which it's personally your own choice. I suppose what swung it for me is the fact that it is onto it helps support the frame of the bike rather than just being attached to the engine. One of my reservations about the Rally Raid guards is the pipes at the front are not protected, which I thought was going to be a bigger issue than it's turned out to be. I've ridden the bike in some pretty rocky territory and there's quite a lot of dents on it, and the pipes have been perfectly fine, so it hasn't been an issue so far. The other thing I was concerned about is you need to remove the center stand, which was also something I didn't really want to do, but in hindsight, because I've raised the bike a couple of inches with the suspension and the wheels, the center stand wouldn't have worked anyway, so yeah, so no major loss. Getting foot pegs is really important. You won't understand this so much until you take the bike off-road and you need to spend a bit of time standing up, which some people can be a bit nervous about, but it is actually very easy to do. And once you've done it for 5 minutes, you'll wonder what you're worried about. Having the wider foot pegs does a couple of things for you. First of all, it makes it very comfortable to stand up on for long periods of time on the ball of your foot. The bigger they are, the more comfortable it is, and you need something with a good kind of grip on it, not rubber. And you also need something that is going to be wide enough that you can keep your foot at least an inch out from the body of the bike. And why that's important is when you're standing up going over a rocky area and the bike starts to wobble a bit, if your feet are next to the bike, you're going to be pushed with the bike. If you're standing up and a little bit away from the bike, as the bike moves, you don't. So it's much easier to balance. You're not thrown around the place, and it just makes for a much more pleasant experience. The front mudguard on this bike is a pretty ugly beast of a yoke, so it was something that I didn't like, and I didn't really like the beak part of the bike either, the way it just ended. So I just got a pretty cheap higher mudguard and put in some spacers. There's a plate under the bike for it. I think it was 35 euros or something like that. Can't remember where I got it. But I think it's just a cosmetic change. So on the bike I've already put in a radiator protector. Again, even with the original mudguards and stuff, the radiator was getting very dirty, so I did have to put in a protector regardless of the mudguard that I was going to be using. And I was concerned that this particular one was going to spray up a lot of dirt onto the mudguard, but so far it has not, and I've tested it pretty well, so happy enough. There's quite a lot of talk about the 19-inch front wheel for the pre-2019 models. To be honest, I got everything in a phased basis, so I rode the bike for quite a long time on the 17-inch front rim And if you're beginning on off-roading and adventure riding, there is no need to upgrade. Do it in as you progress the bike, and that way you're going to save money, and also you're not going to be spending money on things that you don't necessarily need straight away. Now, that said, I'm very glad that I did upgrade, because I am doing a lot more rocky sections and stuff like that, and going through maybe some slightly more advanced than a beginner level riding on the bike, and I'm surprised how much better the bike handles and goes over things, obstacles, potholes, things like that, gets out of ruts much easier. But again, if you're just doing a little bit of green laning and stuff like that, it's not going to be a game changer at the start. But as you progress, it's good to be able to progress up to the bigger wheel and to have that option. With the original exhaust, I had two major issues. First of all, it was too low. Second of all, it was sticking out way too much for what I liked. So I upgraded to the higher level. It's a Scorpion, which I got from Rally Raid. I really like it. It really finishes the bike. It does take a bit of a hammering, as you can see. I've already got a few dents in it, and it's perfect. I feel confident going through deeper water with the bike, and it makes the bike slimmer. So it's just going through tighter areas where either very deep ruts or rocky areas, you're not concerned about snagging the pipe. Switch for the spotlights in the front of the bike, which were on the bike when I got it. So it's one of the advantages really of buying a second-hand bike, is that if you're patient, you can pick one up that somebody's already spent quite a bit of money on that you don't need to spend on. So with this bike, there was heated grips, there was the spotlights, there was a bigger windshield, there was the crash bars on the front of the bike. So they were things I didn't need to spend money on. Now, I personally don't like big windshields. I find it very distracting because I bought the bike for off-road more than on-road, so I don't need a big windshield in front of me, because I find it off-putting. If I'm off-road, I want to be able to see as much over the bike as possible, and when I stand up, I do not want to be thinking about something that's just underneath my neck. And I see a lot of people kind of almost cover the taller windshields with their sat navs and different things, and you're really restricting your vision if you're doing a lot of off-road riding. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I got a tinted version of the original. So look, it's personal choice for everybody. So on the handlebars, I changed the original mirrors. I just got something cheap and cheerful. They're very flexible. They're not going to bend if I hit them or anything. They're really going to move rather than break. And if they do break, because in Ireland we drive on the left side of the road, this is my main one. If I break one, I'm just going to take this and put it in. And if I'm abroad, then vice versa. So I'm really carrying a spare mirror with me all the time. I got the bark busters. Never had them before, and I was a bit slow to get them. But since I've had them, I'm really happy with them, because you just feel there's an extra level of protection if the bike does fall. And also, if you're riding through areas that are quite overgrown, and during the summertime and stuff, that's in a lot of areas for me. It means you're not twisting the handlebars trying to avoid, thorny bushes and stuff sticking out. You just ride straight through them. So yeah, I'm happy with them. I put on a fatter bar. Not sure it's a huge benefit, but I thought that the original one was a bit small, and I was just concerned that if I'm moving around a lot, it wouldn't take the pressure. So there's kind of pros and cons to it, really. It does make getting fittings for it a little bit more awkward, but they are available. Underneath here, I have a USB charger, so I can charge my phone, I can charge whatever I need. Here is for my phone, which I don't normally have on a bike, but it is useful. So especially if you're abroad, to have something in front of you that you can see. You can use that for your sat nav and just to be able to contact people in case of emergency. This is for the drone control. I've only recently got a drone, so I'm still playing around with it. I am having fun with it though. This switch here is for the ABS. I do like to be able to turn off the ABS. I didn't do it originally, and I did find that I was riding in a lot of areas where the bike would just not stop. I was very slippery or gravelly areas, and the bike would just continue on. I know there's a lot of videos online with the pros and cons of turning off the ABS, but for me, I prefer in some situations to be able to control the brakes myself. It's your own personal choice. The heated grips were on the bike when I got it. These levers, one of the first things I did break was the levers, so I just replaced them for flexi ones, and they're adjustable as well, which is hard to see here, but you can adjust them in and out if you want to. So depending on your riding position, and I like to be able to control them with just one finger, so they are pretty sensitive, and I can pull in the clutch and pull the brake with just single fingers. It's kind of something I got used to doing on trials bikes, so it's a feature that I still like to have. So yeah, that's the front of the bike. Hi guys, okay, that's kind of a good test today of all the modifications, everything that we've done to the bike so far. Pretty happy with everything. We're going to get a bit more of an extreme test in the coming weeks when I bring the bike to Morocco. So riding the bike around in a wet bog in Ireland is probably going to be slightly different to Morocco, but you got to work with what you got. Okay guys, I'll see you on the next one.